Today on Earborn, I highlight a childhood favorite song from the 1980s, written in the 70s, and released in 2001. It'll all make sense. The song is Sorcerer from the queen of rock and roll herself, Stevie Nicks.
I'm tired, I'm thirsty, I'm wild-eyed in my misery, timeless.
Sorcerer was written by Stevie Nicks and Lindsey Buckingham in 1972, 2 years before the duo would join Fleetwood Mac. Take a listen to it. The greatest chance for exposure to the song for a Generation Xer like me, however, was on its appearance to the soundtrack of the 1984 movie Streets of Fire, the rock and roll fable. A too cool to be understood at the time box office bomb that got new life through heavy rotation in the heyday of HBO. That's where I saw it, again and again and again. If you haven't seen it, I highly recommend this film that has the plot of a Western with 1950s aesthetics and waves of 1980s neon-lit anachronisms, to say nothing of the meat-loafy glam rock soundtrack. All written by the guy that wrote Alien, of all things. Even 80s bombs were more creative than today's movies. This was a new arrangement for the song, though, given to vocalist Marilyn Martin, most likely because Martin's singing voice sounds more like it could come from Diane Lane's Ellen Aim character more than Ms. Nicks' trademark raspy alto. Check it out. Now that's the version on which I grew up. I actually own both a copy of Streets of Fire and its soundtrack, but in 2001 on Nicks' Trouble in Shangri-La and then again on her greatest hits album Crystal Visions in 2007, she would release today's highlighted version, featuring guitar and backup vocals lent by Sheryl Crow. Let me tell you something, when a new arrangement for a song is so good that it rivals or surpasses the version that you heard first, especially a version that you connect to your childhood, that's a great arrangement. I couldn't believe it. After only a few months of listening to the 2001 release of Sorcerer, I found that I could only listen to the Streets of Fire version in the context of the movie or its soundtrack. It's just that dominant. So, have you seen Streets of Fire? If this were a movie channel, I could do a whole episode about that movie. It's like a story out of Heavy Metal magazine. Anyway, this is my normal PSA to buy licensed copies of whatever art you're listening to. I'm Odium, this has been Earborn, and come back for the next highlight.